Welcome to Legal Beef. Today, this episode, what we're going to do is take you into our Wagyu beef store located in Seguin, Texas, on the banks of the Guadalupe River, Lake Placid, right next to Lola's Liquors. Hi, welcome to Santos Patronos Wagyu. Right behind me, we chose this spot right next to the Lola's Liquor, because that way you can come and you can get your beef and you can get your weekend spirits and you're all set. We opened this store about 2 years ago. The name of the legal company is High Stakes Legal Beef. Being a lawyer, high stakes litigation is what I do. So we call it High Stakes Legal Beef LLC, but it does business as Santos Patronos Wagyu because Santos Patronos is the name of our ranch where the Wagyu cattle and beef come from. All of our beef here is sourced exclusively from Santos Patronos Ranch, our family ranch that's run by my son, Ray Jr. And as you will see inside, the beef here is absolutely magnificent. 100% Japanese black Wagyu. It is all DNA verified back to Japan. It is all USDA inspected meat, professionally and processed, and absolutely spectacular. Come on in. So come on in, and the first is I want you to meet Jane. This is Jane Ebby. She is the face of our store. She is our general manager, the store manager, and she does a fantastic job here. We got to start with the meat, right? These are our displays, and we have several different cuts and varieties of meat that are out here, as well as some snacks over here. Our award-winning beef jerky. You see this trophy right there in the back? That trophy is our jerky won second place in Lexington, Kentucky, in a national contest. It's just absolutely delicious jerky. The jerky is made out of 100% full blood Wagyu. So this is real jerky made from real meat. You don't have to wonder what part of a cow it came from or what that cow is fed. All of our beef is organic in the sense that there are no growth hormones, there's no growth antibiotics or anything like that. Our animals are grass-fed in the sense that they have free range, but we also supplement with proprietary grain from birth all the way until the animal is harvested. One important thing to know about Wagyu is the reason why it tastes so amazing is because of its intermuscular marbling. Let's take a look at some of this. Two of everybody's most popular meats or cuts is the ribeye. Take a look at the marbling on this ribeye. The other one is the strip, and take a look at the marbling on this strip. You can see a lot of intermuscular marbling here. That's what gives it its flavor. That's what gives it its tenderness. And then on the label, one thing that's really cool about this is it'll tell you exactly what you're buying. So this is a family reserve label. Here at Santos Patronos, we have 3 different labels. We have a gold label, a platinum label, and a family reserve label. If you were to go to the grocery store and get regular beef, even USDA Prime grades out between 12 and 15% intermuscular marbling. But here, the lowest that we have is 20%. That's our gold label. Our gold label is anything from 20 to 29%. Our platinum label is anything from 30 to 39%, and our family reserve is 40% plus. So once you get into about 50%, you're a Japanese A5. So this family label, right here on the label, it tells you this is a 44.66% digital marbling percentage. That's why it carries our family reserve label. This New York strip is obviously from the same animal because it's the exact same marbling percentage, and that's why it's carrying our family reserve label. We don't try to achieve A5 because for most Texans, most Americans, the Japanese A5 is number one, way too expensive, and really it doesn't taste like a steak anymore, like Texans know meat. So what we try to strive for is just enough marbling to give that incredible flavor and tenderness, but at the same time maintain that texture that it still tastes like a steak. So some people might ask, well, what does something like this cost? Well, we have a price sheet, and it depends on the label. If you get a gold label, it's a little less. The platinum label is in the middle, and our family reserve is the most of the three. So a ribeye, a gold is $60, a platinum is $75, and the family reserve is $95. Compare that to A5, you'd be spending close to $125 and up. Or for the New York strip, the gold is $55, the platinum is $70, the family reserve is $85. But here's something that I think a lot of people need to know. You say, well, that's pretty expensive for to have meat on a daily basis. Well, it could be, but these steaks are so rich and so flavorful. Normally, one steak is enough for two people. You can take this strip, take it home, and grill it for your wife or your husband, and you can split this steak, add whatever sides you want, and you will be more than satisfied. And the other good news is you say, well, what about all this fat? It's got to be unhealthy. No, Wagyu beef, come on over here, is 100% Japanese Wagyu beef. Actually is very high in monounsaturated fats, which is the healthy fat, and much lower in unsaturated fats. It also is much higher in omegas, 3 and 6, and it has actually more oleic acid than even salmon does. So it's a very healthy beef. You can take a look at some different cuts that we have here. Another very popular cut that we have is a Denver. Take a look at that. Look at the marbling in this Denver. This Denver comes from it's part of the chuck. And for those that know beef, you would be shocked to think that this piece of meat came from a chuck, because chuck we know to be up from the shoulder area. It gets a lot of work out, so it's a very tough piece of meat, and it has to be slow cooked. Think about a chuck roast in order for it to be really edible. But that's not true in the Wagyu. When you pull this out from underneath, it's an area of the chuck underneath the shoulder. It is as tender as a New York strip, and it has the flavor profile of a ribeye. It's really the best of both, and it is our most popular cut here. It's hard to keep it in stock. We've got limited supplies, and I'm actually surprised I was able to look in the case and pull something out. We've also got almost every cut you can think of, certainly cuts you won't find in a normal grocery store. Take a look at the marbling on this tri-tip. Tri-tip is also kind of regarded as a tougher cut, but not in the Wagyu. When you do 100% full blood Japanese Wagyu, and this is also family reserve label, this is an absolutely incredible, delicious piece of meat. At our home, we love to make caldo de res, Mexican beef soup, especially when it's chilly and cold. And one time Sandra came over and she was asking me for some stew meat, and I gave her some. I said, but you know what? Why don't you try this tri-tip in the caldo? So we cut it up into stew meat size, and she included it in the caldo de res, and it gave it a flavor that just completely changes the way you would ever have a caldo de res. Best caldo de res we've ever had, and we don't ever want to eat it again without something like this. We've also got, look at these. These are the dino ribs, or actually these are cut, not dino ribs, these are cut as short ribs, but also very heavily marbled. These are can be grilled or they can be included in soups. The infamous, or the famous tomahawks. Take a look at these famous tomahawks. It's the ribeye with the long bone. They have incredible marbling, incredible flavor. They're really a showpiece. Tillman Fertitta is now doing Wagyu tomahawks at his steakhouse in Austin and his steakhouse in New York, and he's plating these for $1,000. Part of that is because a great Wagyu ribeye is hard to come by. It costs him more money, but also it makes for a great show. So if you really want to entertain, get one of our tomahawks and you can really show off. We sold some tomahawks online during was it Talladega? Yeah, during Talladega. My son and partnered with the Macklemore boys, and we're on the cooking team for Richard Childress, the goat of NASCAR. And we did an online special, a Texas Legendary ribeye special. I think they were offered at $270 a piece, and we sold out in less than 15 minutes. Just had great reviews on these tomahawks. So you might wonder, why is Wagyu beef so much more expensive than the beef you can get at a normal grocery store or normal butcher shop? And there's a couple of reasons. One, yes, it's the quality and it's the limited supply and it's the demand, but it also costs a lot more to the producer to make this kind of meat. So first of all, in a normal commercial animal, what you're doing is you're trying to get the animal as fat as you can, as fast as you can, so you can have less cost in the animal and get to market quicker. With the Wagyu, it's the opposite. With a commercial animal, you're going to keep your costs low by letting the calf, the newborn calf, get nutrients from the mother's milk until weaning, usually at 4 to 5, 6 months of age. When then they take them off and they take them to a feed yard, they fatten them as quick as they can, and they get them to market or to harvest, around 18 months of age. With the Wagyu, it's completely different. So our Wagyu, when our calves are born, they still have their mother's milk. They have their mother's milk as long as they want it, usually 4 to 6 months. But we also provide supplemental feeding from birth. They start to receive some proprietary grains that enable that marble to start growing from inception. We don't force feed anything. They get to enjoy a wonderful life. And here's the thing, they live almost twice as long. We harvest our Wagyu cattle between 27 and 30 months. So that's almost twice as long as a commercial animal that we need to be feeding them and giving them the opportunity to allow their inherent DNA that has all that marbling to flourish as much as possible. So that's why the cost is higher, because it's higher for us. In addition, let's take a look at a couple of other cool things that we have here that you can't find at a normal store. This is a Thor's hammer. It's a shank. It comes from the shank. Normally, you would see this in lamb shank or pork shanks, but we also have it in the Wagyu beef. If you take a look up there, that is the pork shank that has been braised, and it just makes for a spectacular Italian meal. This one is our platinum. It's 37% digital marbling percentage, and it's called Thor's hammer. We've got Wagyu hot dogs. One of the very first beef stores to come up with a full-blood Wagyu hot dog. Now, I want to pause for just a minute, because there is a lot of confusion with Wagyu labeling. This is not to disparage anyone else, but this is just the truth. If you go to a grocery store for Wagyu like H-E-B, which is one of my favorite places. They're a great corporate citizen. They sell Wagyu, but it is not full-blood Wagyu. It is what is called F1. It's a cross. Normally a Wagyu bull that is crossed with a commercial cow. It could be an Angus. It could be anything. So it's about 50% Wagyu and 50% something else. It's still delicious. It's still tender. It should be better than the prime, but it's not full blood, so it doesn't have the same health benefits. It doesn't have the same marbling, and it doesn't have the same tenderness and the same flavor. So with our hot dogs, we have both full blood and American Wagyu hot dogs, and the good thing about hot dogs is that everything that is going in here, we know exactly where it is. These aren't spare parts. These aren't multiple animal carcasses that are being mixed together. All of this comes from a single animal that was raised with tender love and care. So you know that the hot dog is a much more healthy product, something you can eat and not worry about what you're ingesting. We also have all kinds of snack sticks. We have ghost pepper and cheese, honey barbecue flavors, jalapeno and cheddar, original summer sausages, briskets. One of the things that's getting really popular these days are these canal marrow bones. And what we do is you can take these and grill these and or put them in the oven and for bone marrow, and add that as a dressing to your tacos or to your beef, to your soups, and really kick it up. One other thing I wanted to show you out of the case, which is also very unusual, is Wagyu beef bacon. So there's kind of a knock on pork bacon. I think pork bacon is absolutely delicious. But if you wanted a healthier bacon, you could do Wagyu beef bacon. And it's a little bit different flavor than the pork, but it's still absolutely delicious. So in addition to the beef products, what we've also done is taken our Wagyu tallow, the beef tallow, and made some other products with it. First of all, we sell the Wagyu tallow for cooking. If you want to dress anything up, if you want to cook in a healthier fat, using Wagyu tallow, you get the same health benefits and incredible flavor. But one of the things that we've discovered is that tallow is being used for beauty products, for hand creams, for lip balms, for you name it. We also have candles that are made out of tallow. We have body butter, different scents. This is lavender and vanilla, bourbon and vanilla. It's made out of our tallow with a scent, and it's hard to keep it in stock. We're out of the lip balm because people come and get that. That's kind of a mint taste to it, and we also have our cool bags to keep made from LL Bean with our brand on it. And I want to say something about our brand. This has been an iconic brand. It's been so well received by the market. And we developed it for the ranch. And Santos Patronos is the name of the ranch. That means it translates to patron saints. So the name of our ranch was chosen to honor our patron saints of the Thomas family, which include our loved ones who have gone before us, and on their shoulders we stand. But the cattle brand you'll see is an S and an R. That's for Sandra and Ray, and reunited at the cross. So that is where the cattle brand comes from. It's been very well received, and that's why people have been asking for it. We've got our bumper stickers, we've got our hats, all sorts of different styles. We have T-shirts, we have vests, we have cooking aprons, all kinds of products. What we're doing here at the store is we sell retail out of this store here in Seguin, and we also offer free delivery right now for a 250-mile radius. We're not real strict about that if you're a little more than that. which includes Houston and Austin and San Antonio, the Rio Grande Valley, Laredo, and everywhere in between. You can, we don't have online shipping yet, but what we do offer is that free delivery. You can call the store and place the order, or you can email the store and place the order, and we will arrange for the delivery. We also have some nice gift boxes that's got our logo on it and our motto. Our motto is changing lives one bite at a time. And we've been open now for 2 years. If you check out our reviews online or talk to anybody else who's had our meat, they'll tell you that it is life-changing. You never want to eat. The problem is once you have it, you don't want to go back to the other beef. We did have a lady came out to our ranch for a function, and she's in her late 50s. She's been a vegan or pescatarian since she was 17 years old. She didn't have an objection to beef. She just said, I don't know where that meat came from. I don't know how that animal was treated. I don't know what that animal was fed. So if I ever meet a cow that I was comfortable, that I knew where it came from and how it was, how the animal was treated, I'd be willing to try the beef. So she came to our ranch, she tried our beef, and absolutely fell in love with it. And so that was the first beef she had had since she was 17 years old. Pretty proud of that. Okay, so how did this store get started? As you saw from outside, we're right next to a liquor store. And when I first leased this space, which is right across from our lake house, I opened it as a law firm, not necessarily to do retail law, but my main office is in McAllen, and I needed an office in Seguin. I had an office at my home across the street, and I still do, but Sandra wanted some extra space, so we took this space over here. And I thought, well, okay, the front of the store can be used for the ranch, for selling our merchandise and for administrative offices and for reservations at the ranch, there at the lodge. But once we decided to get into the beef business, I offered the front of this store to the beef store, but I still have a small office where I do some work back there. So think Better Call Sal. Remember, Sal started off as a low rent lawyer. He had a low rent space. You had to go through a Vietnamese nail salon if you wanted to see Sal. So think of my law office here in Seguin as you've got to go through the beef store, through the meat store if you want to see Guido. And my Guido's office is here in the back. This is the conference room that we have here. It's set up this way right now because my son is getting married this weekend, and so we've got a lot of stuff that for that wedding. But normally this is set up as a conference room for the law office. We're going to transition to tastings of our beef, along with some nice wines and some whiskeys and tequilas from next door. So this is a multi-purpose room. Here's Guido's office. It's absolutely nothing fancy. It's just my workstation where the magic happens. And of course, I had to have my cowhide chair. And let me show you back here. Because this is sort of funny. This is where we store, this is obviously our storage area. Over here was the very first freezer that we had, this 3-door stainless. But as demand continued to grow and our supply continued to increase, we needed more freezer space. So I bought another freezer and then bought another freezer, and we just had to keep growing. It was both, we had more supply and we had more demand. And so it has really gotten kind of ridiculous in here. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different freezers in this space. It's not really workable. So at the beginning of this year, we now have offsite storage at Americold in San Antonio, same place where like like Costco and HEB, they also use their cold storage. We're just a little gnat, but they take such great care of us there. We're very happy to be there. We can reclaim this space for something else because we'll be doing most of our storage now off-site. And so far, that's what we got. It is life-changing meat. I hope you will give us a try.